People keep asking the same thing. What if you throw a Pitbull into the shelter? What if it's a Kangal? They say it like it's the final test, like dominance is something you prove by adding a stronger animal. But here's the twist. That question is already broken. Because the internet loves confrontation. It loves the idea that leadership is proven when someone gets challenged. But in real animal behavior, confrontation isn't proof, it's noise. And if one new dog flips the whole dynamic, then what you were watching wasn't dominance, it was balance. Online, people think leadership means overpowering a challenger. That's a human competition model. But dogs don't run on Fight Club rules. Leadership in their world isn't about who wins battles, it's about who prevents them. And that changes everything. So when people say, bring in a Pitbull, bring in a Kangal, they think they're testing strength against strength. But what they're really testing is disruption. And disruption doesn't measure dominance, it measures something else entirely. And that's why this question, the one everyone keeps asking, doesn't expose King Charles. It exposes how poorly dominance is understood online. If you want to see what really happens when you mix these dogs, wait until you see the full breakdown. That's where the real answer lives.
Let's talk about something that gets people really fired up online. Animal dominance. We all think we know what it is, right? The whole idea of the alpha? But what if I told you that the way we picture it is a complete myth? Let's get into it.
So when you hear that word alpha, what pops into your head? Probably the biggest one, right? The strongest? The one who is absolutely, without a doubt, the most aggressive of the bunch? Yeah, that's the question at the very heart of all our assumptions.
You know the image I'm talking about. Two animals face off, there's a big showdown, and whoever's left standing is crowned the leader. We are just so used to thinking of dominance as this thing that's decided by a physical fight. It feels logical, doesn't it?
And this, right here, is where things get really interesting. Because the science of animal behavior, ethology, it paints a picture that is so much more subtle, way more complex, and honestly, a lot cooler than just who has the biggest muscles. The real story? It's not about winning fights at all. Okay, so let's just dive right in and tackle this myth head on. Why is our obsession with physical strength so completely off the mark when we're trying to understand how animal groups actually work? I mean, just think about a classic internet argument, a Pitbull versus a Kangal. People will go on for days debating who would win in some imaginary fight. They'll talk about the Pitbull's drive or the Kangal's protective nature. But here's the thing, science tells us we're asking the wrong question completely. Dominance isn't a one-time event, it's an ongoing social dance. And that brings us to a huge flaw in how we think about this. The places where we often see this dominance in action, they're totally artificial, which pretty much makes the results useless.
A lot of the stories you hear, the anecdotal evidence, it comes from places like dog shelters. But let's be real, a shelter is not a natural environment. It's a pressure cooker. It's a high-stress, man-made social experiment that tells us almost nothing about real leadership.
And just think about what's going on in there for a second. These dogs are forced to live together, they didn't choose their roommates, space is tight, food is limited, and their stress levels are through the roof. What you get is a really fragile, totally unstable social ladder that has basically nothing to do with what you'd see in a stable, natural group. So what do you think happens when you drop a dog that's been bred for incredible motivation and persistence, like a Pitbull type, into that already tense situation? You get what scientists call a functional mismatch. The very things that make them so powerful become a source of instability. They aren't leaders bringing order, they're basically injecting friction and chaos into the system. So here's the bottom line. Watching what happens when you throw a powerful dog into a tense group of other dogs, that doesn't test leadership. All it does is measure how the system reacts when you shake it up. It's kind of like shaking a snow globe really hard and then trying to understand what daily life is like for the little people in the village inside.
Okay, so if dominance isn't about fighting, then what is it? Well, it's about something way more sophisticated. Let's call it the architecture of influence. Now, this is the scientific definition, and it really is a game changer. Dominance is the ability to influence what others do, where they move, what they can get to, and here's the key part, usually without having to get physical. It's all about shaping behavior long before a fight could ever break out.
This just lays it all out, doesn't it? The myth we all believe says power is proven by fighting, and that it creates instability. But the reality? True dominance is about preventing fights and creating social stability. It's a sign of deep confidence, not insecurity.
So, if the big brawling dog isn't the real leader, then who is? Well, you might want to prepare yourself for this one, because it's often an archetype you would never expect. Something like a King Charles Spaniel. Yeah, I'm serious.
Just look at these behaviors. This is what real leadership actually looks like. An influential leader gets other dogs to calm themselves down. They literally walk away from conflict before it starts. They use subtle social cues, not big, scary threats. And the result of all this, they actually lower the stress of the entire group. They are a force for stability.
And this leads us to this really fascinating paradox. A dog that's constantly throwing its weight around, projecting physical power, it actually gets challenged more. And why is that? Because overt power just begs to be tested, and every single one of those tests creates more tension. A real leader, on the other hand, gives off this vibe of such calm confidence that other animals just don't feel the need to test them.
All right, let's pull all these threads together. The last piece of this puzzle is figuring out why we get this so wrong and what we should really take away from all this.
You know, the truth is, we have a bad habit of projecting our own human hangups onto animals. We live in a world that is obsessed with competition, with clear winners and losers. So naturally, we look at a group of dogs and we immediately start searching for the one who wins the fights, because that's what makes sense in our world. But we're using the wrong rulebook. If you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this. True, stable leadership in the animal kingdom isn't defined by winning fights. It's defined by the fights that never even happen. It's all about keeping the peace through social skill, not proving you're the toughest dog in the park. And this quote, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? If the only way you can prove you're the boss is by throwing the whole system into chaos and seeing if you come out on top, then you're not a leader, you're just a disruptor. Real leadership is that quiet, confident force that stops the chaos before it can even begin.
So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. What if true power isn't about winning the fight, but about making sure the fight never happens in the first place? It's a pretty powerful idea, not just for how we see animals, but maybe for how we see leadership everywhere.
So here's the truth. Throwing in a Pitbull or a Kangal doesn't reveal dominance. It reveals how little people actually understand it. Because real leadership isn't about who wins fights. It's about who stops them before they even start. And that's why the question everyone keeps asking isn't exposing King Charles, it's exposing the myth. The real answer, the one that flips this whole debate upside down, that's waiting for you in the full breakdown. Watch closely, because once you see it, you'll never look at dominance tests the same way again.